We are just over the halfway point in September, and we have already had so many people in the public eye and celebrities who found themselves at the center of a media crisis, or at least adjacent to one. I'm going to read a list of names of people that I pulled out from the month of September. Let me know if I've missed anyone. One name in this group inspired me to come up with a new term for someone who successfully dodges the full damage of a public relations crisis due to a number of mitigating factors, but the most significant one, they are pushed off the news cycle. They're pushed off the front page because there's so many other crises backing up behind them. So I have a new term for it. So here are the names, and then you figure out, before I say it, who the name is. Here we go. Where are my names? Okay, Russell Brand, Drew Barrymore, Jan Wenner, Lauren Beetlejuice, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, Danny Masterson, Joe Jonas, Sophie Turner, Jimmy Fallon, Oprah Winfrey, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So who wins the award for the luckiest celebrity in the month of September? Winner? Jimmy Fallon. The new term added to the lexicon of public relations crisis management is the Fallon. I'm going to now give you the factors, the reasons why Jimmy Fallon was able to dodge significant damage in the month of September. Pieces of content I'm going to highlight that were published in the month of September. One, my first Forbes byline as a contributor in the hot seat, Jimmy Fallon and NBC's Tonight Show crisis response, looking at how NBC handled it, Jimmy Fallon's Zoom call, and also comparing Jimmy Fallon's crisis with previous talk show hosts who also went through their PR crisis. Also on the Indestructible PR podcast this week, in the hot seat again. So we are looking at Fallon and NBC's reaction. Here's our baseline, the Rolling Stone article that was published September 7th, 2023. Christy Lee Yandoli, Chaos Comedy Crying Rooms. How's that for alliteration? She interviewed a lot of people for this article, and a damaging takeaway for Jimmy Fallon. Also, we heard about good Jimmy days and bad Jimmy days. This was a well-researched article. Christy Lee Yandoli spoke to so many former and current staffers. Now, one of the interesting through lines that I found in my research, Ellen DeGeneres had the same thing. The Be Kind talk show mantra masks a toxic work culture. The person behind that article, Christy Lee Yandoli, is the same reporter. Kelly Clarkson, do you remember this? Had the same issue. Toxic behind the scenes. Rolling Stone. And if you guessed, there you go. Same reporter. Kelly Clarkson handled it so well. When this story was published, the next day she immediately went to Instagram, put some words out in a carousel. She took full ownership of it. And even here, she said that the talk show host is fantastic to the employees. And they said, they were quoted as saying they didn't think that Kelly Clarkson knew anything about it. But even so, she said she was going to take care of it. And that's why this story died down. Fun fact that I also learned today, I think this is true, that Kelly Clarkson is paying her staff during the strike. Other fun fact, this is Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon, the hallway, 30 Rock. Right across this door, someone's moving in across the hall from Jimmy Fallon. Do you know who that is? Kelly Clarkson. So here's my list for the reasons why Jimmy Fallon is the luckiest celebrity in the month of September. Number one, being that he's working across the hall from Kelly Clarkson. How great would that be? And I actually think that is going to be good for the Jimmy Fallon brand, because I might see those two like ping-ponging off each other. Watch for it. It will happen. Number two reason, the NBC response fully supported Jimmy. But compare that to Warner Brothers. When the story came out about Ellen DeGeneres, Warner Brothers started an investigation right away. So Jimmy got through it. 3, the writer's strike. When that story was published, Jimmy Fallon does not need to come out this door and walk down the hallway and do a monologue where he has to, give a mea culpa to the audience. That's going to be recorded and then sent and shared everywhere else. We didn't have to see it and will likely never see it. Number 4, Jimmy Fallon's wife, Nancy Javonen, she owns Flower Films with Drew Barrymore. And Drew Barrymore, buddies with Jimmy Fallon, her talk show is probably the biggest reason why Jimmy's talk show got pushed off the headlines. And isn't that interesting? Right in the middle is Nan. Number 5, Strike Force 5. Jimmy Fallon is a part of all of these late night guys that came together for a podcast. All of the proceeds go to their staffs. Nice guys. Are there no more female late night talk show hosts anymore? I guess not. And 5A, on September 13th, 6 days after publication, it was announced that Fallon, Kimmel, and Colbert would be performing together in a one-night-only live show called Strike Force 3. And it's on September 23rd, Dolby Live Theater in Las Vegas. Again, the show is set to raise money for their staff members. And here's the final reason on my list. This came out late yesterday. Rolling Stone co-founder Jan Renner, he was removed from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame leadership after his controversial comments, which they were so stupid. All he needed to do is say that he wrote a book about the Masters, about people who he liked, but instead he tried to overly explain why he didn't include black artists or female artists and said that, oh, this quote is so bad. It's not that they're inarticulate, although go have a deep conversation with Grace Slick or Janis Joplin. Please be my guest. Just for public relations sake, maybe I should have gone and found one black and one woman artist to include here that didn't measure up to that same historical standard, just to avert this kind of criticism. Exactly. It is that type of thinking that puts you in a public relations crisis, which is the reason why I'm wrapping this up right now. Is the reason why this helps Jimmy Fallon is because when you Google Rolling Stone, what's going to come up first is this Rolling Stone mention, not the one about Jimmy Fallon. So there we have our new term. Looking for every month, we're going to look for the Fallon.